Welcome to Finance Podcast, where we guide you to financial freedom.
Welcome back, everybody, to another deep dive. This time we're tackling frugal living. Not just about pinching pennies, but about creating a life that's rich in all the right ways. Financially stable and joyfully simple. We've got a whole pile of books here by folks who've walked the walk.
And what's so cool is how these authors emphasize contentment as the starting point.
Yeah, like it's not about denying yourself things.
Right. It's about realizing true wealth isn't tied to your bank balance, but a feeling of deep down peace and fulfillment. One author even talks about prayer as a tool to kind of examine your motivations and desires.
That's interesting. Makes you think, doesn't it? It reminds me of that saying, want what you have, instead of always chasing after more.
It's a real mindset shift.
Absolutely. Oh, and speaking of mindset, one book had this funny idea of selective squeamishness.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What is that?
So there's this mom who describes being totally fine with chucking the half-eaten apple,
Okay.
but the thought of saving it for later totally grossed her out.
Huh. That's a perfect example of how our unconscious biases influence our spending, right? We often buy things not because we truly need them,
Yeah,
but because of these ingrained habits.
that makes sense. So how do we break free from those biases and start making smarter choices? The books talk a lot about separating needs from wants.
Absolutely. That's a great starting point. One reader was shocked to discover they had spent over $300 on completely optional things in just a few months.
Wow. $300, that's a serious wake-up call.
Imagine the savings if they had been tracking their spending.
So how do we actually put this needs versus wants idea into action?
You start by making your own lists. What's essential for you might be a luxury for someone else. Take housing, for example.
Good point.
For one person, a downtown apartment might be non-negotiable for their career, their lifestyle. But for someone else, a smaller place further out might be a better fit for their priorities.
So it's not about judging, but about being honest with yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Knowing what truly matters to you.
I like that. And once you've got a clear understanding of your needs, you can start building a budget that reflects your values and goals. One book introduced this really cool idea called the price book.
Oh, yeah. The price book.
I'm not familiar. What is that?
Basically, you keep track of the prices you pay for everything your family uses regularly. Not just hunting for the lowest price at any given time,
Got it.
but understanding the real cost per serving or per use over time.
Oh, I see. So you can see the bigger picture.
Right. One reader saved hundreds of dollars each year just by knowing when to buy laundry detergent in bulk, all thanks to their price book.
That sounds super organized.
Yeah.
Is it really worth all that effort?
Think of it as an investment. A little time up front can lead to significant financial gains throughout the year.
Okay, I can see that.
Plus, knowing you're getting the best value for your money, it gives you a real sense of control over your finances.
So we've talked about being content, figuring out our needs and wants, and getting a handle on budgeting. What's the next step on this frugal living adventure?
Let's explore the power of minimalism. It's not just about decluttering your home, it's about freeing up mental space and financial resources by focusing on what truly matters.
I love that. It's like owning less stuff so you can own your life.
Exactly. One of the most inspiring stories was about a family who saved thousands by building their own home using salvaged materials. Talk about resourcefulness.
Building a whole house from scratch, that's incredible.
Right. It takes a lot of vision and determination. But it shows how minimalism can empower you to create something truly unique and valuable, shifting from being a consumer to becoming a creator.
Instead of buying a pre-built home, they put in the time and energy to build something that reflected their values.
Powerful example of how minimalism goes beyond just getting rid of things.
Are there other examples of this creator mindset?
Oh, absolutely. It applies to all areas of life. The clothes you wear to the food you eat.
Okay.
One author talks about making your own clothes instead of buying them.
Interesting.
Or cooking delicious meals from scratch instead of prepackaged food.
So it's about rediscovering those skills and finding the joy in creating.
It's not about deprivation. It's
Yeah.
about finding a different kind of abundance.
And that abundance often leads to financial savings, too.
For sure.
Speaking of savings, let's talk about some frugal hacks. The books mention homemade cleaning supplies, repurposing everyday items, and using leftovers creatively.
Endless possibilities for reducing expenses without sacrificing quality of life.
Right. It's not about being cheap, it's about being smart.
Exactly. One book shares tips for stretching your grocery budget. Adding breadcrumbs or beans to ground beef, more meatless meals, learning to cook with dried beans.
those are good ideas.
Mm-hmm.
I'm especially intrigued by the dry milk thing.
The dry milk revelation.
I never thought to use dry milk regularly, but it makes so much sense.
Not just saving money, but for convenience, too.
Always have milk on hand.
It's a surprisingly versatile ingredient. Even if you're a whole milk person,
Right?
there are ways to incorporate it and barely notice the difference.
Okay, so we're saving money on groceries and cleaning supplies, but what about fun? Frugality doesn't mean no joy, right?
Absolutely not. Plenty of ways to have fun on a budget. One book suggests free or low-cost options like community events, hiking trails, library resources.
And I loved their take on making holidays more affordable and meaningful.
Yes.
Christmas, Valentine's Day, Halloween. You can still enjoy them all without breaking the bank.
Focusing on experiences and traditions instead of expensive gifts.
Yeah.
One author beautifully highlights reading aloud to your children,
It's not just a special family ritual
fosters a love of reading.
and costs nothing. It's about making memories without spending a dime.
That's it.
Speaking of family, how do we bring our kids into this frugal living thing?
That's crucial. One author stresses involving children in budgeting, chores, spending decisions,
To give them a sense of responsibility.
and appreciation for the value of money.
Right. There's a story about a mom who challenged her daughter's, wow, I want that attitude
I remember that one.
by offering ways to earn the things she wanted.
Powerful lesson.
It's not entitlement, it's empowerment.
Exactly. Give kids the tools to make smart choices.
And understand the consequences of their spending.
It all starts with open conversations and modeling good financial behavior.
Walking the walk, not just talking the talk.
Exactly.
We've covered so much ground already. Contentment, budgeting, minimalism, building community.
It's amazing how much wisdom is packed into these books.
What stands out to you as the most impactful takeaway so far?
It's the recurring theme of intentionality. Every decision becomes an opportunity to align your spending with your values, being mindful of where your money goes,
Right.
and making sure it supports the life you want to create.
It's not just saving money.
It's investing in your future, well-being, the things that truly matter, living a life that's both financially secure and deeply fulfilling.
This has been so insightful. I can't wait to hear what else these books have to offer.
Me too.
Yeah.
So much more to explore. You know, it's fascinating how frugal living can transform not just our wallets, but our whole outlook on stuff.
So,
One author describes this turning point where she decided to take away all of her kids' toys.
wait, she took away all their toys. That's intense. What happened?
It wasn't meant as punishment, more like an experiment in simplifying their lives.
Yeah.
And the results were surprisingly positive.
Really?
The kids adapted, became more resourceful with what they had, even rediscovered the joy in the toys they did own.
Like hitting the reset button on their expectations.
Right.
They had to find new ways to have fun, get creative.
Mm.
It reminds me of that saying, less is more.
Exactly. Breaking free from that more mentality that consumer culture pushes on us.
Yeah, it's everywhere. It's teaching kids and maybe ourselves to find happiness outside of material possessions.
It all ties back to contentment, right? When you're content with what you have, you're less likely to fall into that trap of always wanting more.
Appreciating the abundance in our lives, even if it doesn't look like the abundance we see in those glossy magazines.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got contentment, simplifying our lives. What other strategies do these books offer for living more frugally?
Well, one author challenges us to question the allure of deals.
Interesting.
You know, we often get caught up in the excitement of a sale
Yeah,
and end up with things we don't actually need.
I am so guilty of that. But aren't good deals like a core part of saving money?
It's about being discerning. A good deal isn't a bargain if it's for something you won't use or that clashes with your values.
Okay.
One author shares a story about finding this amazing pair of boots on sale.
Oh, I love shoe stories.
They were totally her style, great price, but she paused before buying and asked herself, do I really need these? Will they add value to my life?
So checking those impulse buys at the door. Even when faced with a tempting sale,
Right.
making sure purchases align with our needs and goals.
It's like a little mindfulness practice right there in the shoe aisle.
I love that image.
It takes practice to become a mindful spender.
Yeah, I can imagine.
One practical tip is to identify your spending triggers.
Okay, spending triggers. What are those?
Those situations or emotions that lead you to impulse purchases.
Oh, I see.
For example, if you know you overspend when you're stressed
Ah,
or bored, you can develop strategies to cope in healthier ways.
so instead of online shopping, call a friend
Right.
or go for a walk instead of browsing the mall.
It's about taking control of your finances rather than letting your emotions control you.
These authors are like financial therapists, helping us understand our money habits and make better choices.
It all comes back to self-awareness, right?
Totally. And that awareness goes beyond our own spending habits, too.
What do you mean?
To recognizing the bigger forces that shape our relationship with money.
I see what you're saying.
Like advertising.
Oh,
They're constantly telling us we need the newest gadgets, the latest fashion trends.
the bigger house, right. All to be happy and successful.
Exactly. One author argues our culture equates spending with happiness and success.
We're bombarded with these messages telling us we need to buy more to be enough.
It's like we're on this treadmill, always striving for something just out of reach.
And that's where frugal living offers a powerful antidote.
How so?
It's about challenging those narratives, defining success on your own terms,
Okay.
recognizing true wealth lies in experiences, relationships, a life lived in alignment with your values, not in the amount of stuff you own.
It's stepping off that treadmill and finding a path that feels more authentic,
I like that.
more fulfilling.
So we're mindful of our spending, resisting those tempting deals, questioning those messages.
What other gems can we dig out of these books?
Let's talk about our relationship with stuff.
Stuff, okay?
Frugal living encourages us to rethink the value we place on possessions,
Yeah.
embrace a simpler, more sustainable way of life.
Moving away from that more is better mentality.
Exactly. One author shares her journey of becoming this dedicated recycler.
Okay, I'm all for recycling.
First, it was aluminum foil, then Ziploc bags, now even vacuum cleaner bags.
Wait, recycling vacuum cleaner bags? How do you even, did she like wash them out or something?
It's about creatively extending the life of your belongings.
Interesting.
Reducing waste saves money and fosters resourcefulness.
It goes beyond just recycling, right?
Yes.
It's repairing, repurposing, making the most of what you already have.
It's that make, do, and mend attitude.
Exactly. That can apply to clothes, furniture, food, household items.
It's about seeing the potential in things others might toss away.
You're like a scavenger, a treasure hunter,
Haha.
making something out of nothing.
It can be incredibly empowering.
Okay, I could see that.
Taking control of your consumption, creating a more sustainable and fulfilling life.
Breaking free from that cycle of buy, use, discard.
Exactly.
So much of what we buy these days is designed to be disposable.
It is.
It's refreshing to see people pushing back against that.
It's like reclaiming a sense of agency and creativity.
And that sense of agency can extend beyond ourselves, right?
So,
Leading to a greater sense of community.
I see what you mean.
Connecting with others who share similar values around simplicity and mindful spending.
One book highlights the benefits of swap shops and free boxes, where people exchange unwanted items.
Oh, that's cool. Like a community-based alternative to buying and selling.
It's about fostering generosity and resourcefulness.
And it goes beyond physical things, too.
Oh, absolutely.
Sharing skills, knowledge, and support.
Building a network of like-minded folks.
Who are committed to living more intentionally and frugally.
Right.
Like creating a support system for this lifestyle.
Exactly.
Because it's not always easy to go against the grain, you know?
There will be times when we're tempted to give in.
It's true.
Feel like we're missing out.
That's where community makes all the difference.
Yeah. It helps to know you're not alone.
Sharing tips, encouragement, reminding each other why we're doing this.
Finding strength in numbers.
No, we talked earlier about teaching kids about frugality.
Yes. That's such an important topic.
It's about building a solid financial foundation.
Absolutely. One book suggests starting with an allowance, encouraging them to track their spending.
Hands-on experience with managing money.
Even if it's just a small amount.
Learning those budgeting skills early on.
Right. Involving them in financial discussions, too.
Oh, good idea.
Explaining how the family budget works, making them part of decisions.
So, for example, if the family is saving for a vacation,
Yes.
the kids could help set savings goals.
Exactly.
Brainstorm ways to cut back on expenses.
Making finances a family affair.
I love
Empowering kids to be responsible.
with their resources.
Yes, and it's not just about teaching them to save.
Right.
It's about the value of work.
The connection between effort and reward
One author recommends giving kids opportunities to earn money.
through chores or little jobs.
It's not about handouts.
Money is earned through hard work,
Instilling a strong work ethic.
helping them see the value of their time.
And their money, setting them up for success later on.
Now, we've talked about the practical side, allowances, chores, saving. But what about those I want that moments? Every parent knows what I'm talking about.
Oh, that's a classic.
When your kid sees the latest whatever
Right.
and starts begging you to buy it for them.
One book suggests offering alternatives to just saying no.
Okay.
You could suggest a similar but less expensive item.
Good idea.
or help them save up for it.
Instead of shutting down the conversation,
Yeah.
you're giving options, encouraging them to take ownership.
Exactly. Use those moments as teaching opportunities.
I like that.
Talk about needs versus wants, budgeting, the beauty of delayed gratification.
Helping them build a healthy relationship with money from a young age.
Precisely. And setting a good example with your own financial behavior.
All right.
Kids are watching, learning from us.
We need to model the values we want to instill.
It's about walking the walk.
Absolutely. Which brings us to another key part of teaching kids about money.
Giving.
Ah, yes. Instilling generosity and compassion. One author recommends family conversations about charitable giving.
Involving kids in choosing causes they care about.
It doesn't have to be complicated.
Donating clothes, toys, volunteering at a soup kitchen.
It's teaching them money can be a tool for good.
For making a positive impact.
And it fosters gratitude, right?
Yeah.
Appreciation for what they have.
When you're grateful, you focus less on what you lack.
It's a powerful shift.
It really is. A valuable lesson no matter your financial situation.
We've covered so much. Budgeting, saving, mindful spending, simple living, raising financially savvy kids.
It's remarkable how much wisdom these books offer.
What stands out to you as the most inspiring aspect of frugal living?
It's the transformative power of this lifestyle. It's
Yeah.
not just about saving money, it's about creating a more intentional life.
Meaningful, aligned with your values.
Exactly. Leading to a profound sense of freedom.
It's breaking free from those chains of consumerism.
Living a life that's financially secure and deeply satisfying.
Powerful message, especially today.
It really is. And it's a journey anyone can take no matter their income.
So it's not deprivation, it's making conscious choices
Big and small.
to create a life that's sustainable.
And fulfilling.
Which leads us to another important aspect of frugal living,
What's that?
being willing to challenge conventional wisdom,
Interesting.
thinking outside the box.
Yep.
You mean those societal norms that say we need to spend X amount to be happy or successful?
Exactly. One author had this great line. She said, we need to think hard about whether you really need magic mushroom room deodorizers and other consumer items of recent invention.
So true. So many things we're told we need are just wants, and we can find cheaper and better alternatives if we just get creative.
Like making your own cleaning products or using vinegar and baking soda for everything.
Exactly.
Be willing to experiment, find what works best for your family. There's no one-size-fits-all approach.
It's about finding a balance that works for you.
Right, and that balance might look different for everyone.
Yeah.
What matters is that you're making conscious choices.
Living in a way that feels right.
Authentic and fulfilling.
Speaking of fulfilling, it seems like a lot of these authors talk about enjoying the process.
Absolutely. It's about finding the fun in frugal living, embracing a long-term perspective.
Yeah, one author talked about meticulously tracking prices and using a price book to save hundreds of dollars over the year.
It takes effort up front, but it pays off in the end.
It's like planting a garden.
I like that.
You have to nurture it, be patient.
But you eventually enjoy the fruits of your labor.
Exactly. And that long-term perspective can be applied to everything from saving for retirement to investing in your health.
It's about making choices today that will benefit you down the line.
Okay, so we're thinking long-term, being patient. What other mindset shifts do these authors suggest?
Embracing resourcefulness is a big one.
Okay, what does that mean?
It's finding ways to make the most of what you have, seeing potential where others might see trash.
One author described repurposing frozen juice can lids for crafts with her kids.
It's amazing what you can do if you get a little creative.
It's thinking outside the box, finding new uses for everyday items.
Becoming a master of make, do, and mend.
Exactly. And that resourcefulness can be so rewarding.
It's empowering, creating and solving problems without always buying expensive solutions.
Tapping into your inner creativity and ingenuity.
And realizing we already have so much abundance around us.
We've explored so many fascinating aspects of frugal living.
It's been quite a journey.
Contentment and budgeting, to minimalism and community building.
It really has.
What resonates with you most from all of this?
The underlying message of empowerment. Frugal living isn't about deprivation.
Right.
It's about taking control of your finances, your consumption, your life.
Making choices that reflect your values.
Exactly. And finding freedom and fulfillment in a way that's both financially sustainable and personally meaningful.
It's not just about saving money, but about living a richer, more intentional life.
Precisely. A message that everyone can benefit from.
Well said. And that brings us to the end of our deep dive into the world of frugal living.
It's been a pleasure exploring this with you.
We hope you found it insightful and inspiring.
And maybe even a little bit fun.
Remember, it's not about perfection.
It's about progress.
Making small changes, one step at a time,
Celebrating those wins.
and most importantly, finding joy in the journey.
Because when you're living a life that's true to you, every decision
Every purchase, every dollar saved.
becomes a step towards creating the life you really want.
Embrace the challenge, be kind to yourself, and enjoy the ride. Thanks for joining us.